Nigerians' opposition politics is now hanging in a legal holding pattern, one where silence from courts may prove just as decisive as any ruling. At the center of this high-stakes standoff, two parties, one deadline, and a Supreme Court that has chosen to wait. Leave a subscription and like, and let's give you the breakdown of this analysis. The Supreme Court of Nigeria has reserved judgment in a web of appeals and cross-appeal arising from leadership crises in both the People's Democratic Party (PDP) and the African Democratic Congress (ADC). No date has been fixed for its ruling. In the PDP, earlier court decision nullified the Ibadan Convention that produced Kabiru Turaki, reshaping the party's leadership structure. Meanwhile, a rival faction aligned with Nyesom Wike and recognized by the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) currently holds operational control. The ADC presents an even more fragmented picture. Three competing factions linked to David Mark, Nafiu Bala Gombe, and Oga Timitokwe are locked in dispute, with INEC recognizing none of them. The electoral body has even removed key figures, including Mark and Rauf Aregbesola, from its official portal. Yet the ADC insists on pushing ahead with its convention. The power dynamics breakdown is what we are looking at. In the PDP, power, at least for now, is less about legal legitimacy and more about institutional recognition. The faction backed by Wike enjoys a crucial advantage: validation by INEC. In Nigeria electoral system, recognition by the electoral umpire often translates into practical authority, control of party structures, access to official platforms, and the ability to act. Contrast that with ADC, where power is effectively paralyzed. With no factions recognized, the party exists in a state of administrative limbo. There is no clear leadership, no unified structure, and critically, no authoritative voice to interface with INEC. This places INEC in a unique, powerful position, not merely as a regulator, but as a gatekeeper of political legitimacy. Its recognition or refusal to recognize is shaping outcome even before the court deliver their verdict. Legal and institutional implication when a court reserves judgment. It signals that arguments have concluded, but deliberations are ongoing. In political terms, however, it creates a vacuum, one where uncertainty becomes the dominant force. The concept of status quo ante bellum, a return to the state of affairs before the dispute, often guides interim legal thinking. But in practice, maintaining the status quo can favor whichever faction currently holds institutional advantage. In the PDP's case, that is the INEC recognized bloc. Delays at that level are not neutral. They shape political realities, influence strategic decisions, and in some cases determines outcome before a final judgment is ever delivered. Time pressure and electoral risk. All of these unfold against a ticking clock. INEC has set May 10 as the deadline for political parties to submit their membership registered ahead of the 2027 election. For the PDP, internal disputes are destabilizing but not yet existential. The party still has a recognized structure capable of meeting regulatory requirements. For the ADC, the risk is far more severe. Without a recognized leadership, it may be unable to compile or submit a valid membership register. If the Supreme Court does not rule before the deadline, the ADC could face exclusion from the ballot entirely. That would not just be a procedural failure, it would amount to political erasure. The broader implication is a weakening of Nigeria's opposition landscape. A fractured PDP and a paralyzed ADC reduce the competitive pressure on the ruling establishment. These moments test the resilience of multi-party democracy. When internal party conflicts escalate into prolonged legal battles, and when institutional delays intersect with electoral timelines, the result is not just party instability, it is a systemic imbalance. Those who benefit are often not the strongest parties, but the most stable ones. Forward-looking, several scenarios now emerge. In a best-case outcome, the Supreme Court delivers a timely and decisive ruling that clarifies leadership structure in both parties. This would allow compliance with INEC deadline and preserve their electoral participation. In a worst-case scenario, judgment is delayed beyond May 10. The PDP continues under a contested but factional structure, while the ADC risks missing the electoral cycle entirely. The most likely outcome lies somewhere in between partial clarity. The PDP may stabilize under judicial guidance, while the ADC remains entangled in uncertainty, struggling to meet regulatory requirements in time. In the end, this is not just a legal contest, it is a race against time, where silence from the bench could redraw Nigeria's political map. The question is no longer simply who lead these parties, or whether they will even survive long enough to compete. What do you think? Should the court prioritize speed in political sensitive cases like this, or is caution more important than urgency? Share your thoughts and follow for more in-depth political analysis coming in from yours truly. I rest my case on this one. See you in my next post.